Listen carefully because this is not something you hear every day. There are moments in time when something shifts. Not just around you, but for you. Moments when the unseen world moves with such force that even heaven pauses to acknowledge it. And this is one of those moments. Because just now, yes, just now, Archangel Michael stepped out of a place few ever speak about. A place not made of bricks or stone, but of divine order, spiritual treasury, where destinies are documented, where blessings are assigned, where provision is released according to purpose. And what he saw inside left even him in shock. Someone called your name. Didn't whisper, not a hint. It was made public. And something happened when it was said. A let go. Making a move. A change that was so strong that it could be heard in places you can't see. A huge amount, not a symbol, not made up, however given, noted down. Let's go. Has been set free in your name. Now, this wasn't supposed to be heard by you. This wasn't supposed to be known by you yet. But your spirit, your awareness, or the quiet times inside you have been telling you that things are going to change. That things can't keep the same. The pain you've been through, the waiting you've put up with, and the silent battles you fought were all for a reason. It's now here. But pay attention. Now it's time to act quickly. Archangel Michael didn't just watch the release. He also sent a message of caution. There's a window. A small, clear, and unchangeable window. It also shuts down at midnight. That might make you wonder, midnight of what? Today? Tomorrow? But keep this in mind. It's not just a wall clock. It has to do with divine timing, spiritual alignment, and a moment that can't be made again after it's over. Have you ever thought that something was meant for you, but never quite got to you? It was like you were so close, but something held you up, scared you, or pulled you away at the worst possible time. The way you feel and the way things happen are not random. It's being broken right now. This time, heaven made sure you heard the call. Take a look. For what reason did this message find you amidst all the other things going on? This is where you stopped. I can hear you. Do not forget to pay attention. It's not a coincidence. That's how you align. Not everyone is hearing Archangel Michael. He wants to talk to you since you're on the verge of something you've never been through before. A time when things that have been put off are being pushed forward. Where things that were late are now being delivered. Where the things that have been written over your life are now coming true. But most people won't tell you this. Not everyone claims what they are given. Some people don't see their moment. When the door opens, not everyone goes forward. That's why this message has an urgent tone. It's not okay to treat this like background noise. You can't just say, maybe later. It's not okay to doubt what your spirit is already telling you because it says your name on it. Big thing. Something can't be denied. Something that will change not only your situation but also the way you're going. And the time has already begun. In front of the door, Archangel Michael stands not to scare you, but to wake you up. It's not meant to rush you, but to make you aware. As soon as midnight hits, the chance changes shape. Now is your chance to see. Now is the time to feel. Now is the time to get ready because the thing that was let go of is already moving toward you. Will you be ready to claim it? That's the only question. If this message makes you feel something, type I am ready in the comments. The blessing code 1212 is now being sent out around your path. Please know that every seed you plant in this mission grows into a torch that shines in someone else's darkness. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our community does not go to a channel. Your actions are supporting a divine mission to save lost souls. But more than your support, we want your presence. When you head to our community through the link in the description or the pinned comment, you aren't just visiting a site. You are entering a community of like-minded believers. This is a sanctuary where you can post your prayer requests, lift up the burdens of others, and engage in daily discussions with a family that speaks the language of faith. Whether you are joining one of our membership tiers for deeper study, sowing a seed of faith, or simply joining our daily morning prayers, you are helping us build a global altar of worship. Heaven moves through willing voices, but it grows through a community that stands together. Each gift you give acts as living water for those in our community seeking healing and hope. Give and it will be given to you is the promise that sustains our shared mission. I invite you now to step out of the shadows and into this circle of prayer. Come with purpose. Join the conversation and plant your seed in fertile ground. Let's open the heavens together. Release your seed today. Join our community and see what God brings back into your life. You were never told this. Not because it was meant to be kept from you, but because you couldn't understand it until the right time. Now is that time. Before you even breathed your first breath, before your family said your name, and before your life took turns you could never have imagined, someone wrote something about you. It's not just a story, not only a way, but there is a catch, an assignment from God, a spiritual record that goes beyond what you can see in the physical world and holds your identity. This isn't making things up. This isn't a metaphor. This is truth that works differently than what your eyes are used to seeing. Some kind of divine order exists in the world where Archangel Michael stands. A place where every call is met with provision. Where every goal is matched with resources and where nothing heaven gives is left without support. That's where your name was entered and your account was opened by divine authority, not by a person or a circumstance. Something has been saved for you in that account. Something that doesn't depend on what you're going through now, what mistakes you've made in the past, or what you know now. It was put there because of what you were called to become, not what you are. Take a moment to think about your life. Have you ever felt like you were meant for more but just couldn't get there? Like chances showed up but were quickly taken away. Like doors that were about to open but were stopped by something. That's not the same thing as failing. That emotion is a memory. A deep spiritual memory of what is yours. Because a part of you has always known that your life wasn't meant to stay small, confined or limited. One part of you has always known that something bigger, more ready and bearing your name was out there, even when things didn't seem to support it. That's the account. And it stayed that way for a long time. Not because it was empty, but because the time wasn't right yet. To understand, you had to go through many levels, learn many lessons, and become more aware. You were being put in place. It wasn't by chance that there were delays, confusion, and times when things didn't make sense. It was getting ready. It was in line. It was the slow progress of a schedule that couldn't be sped up. Because what is kept for you is not a small thing. It won't be short-term. It's not a mistake. It's important enough that it needed to be done correctly. Now, something has changed. Archangel shouldn't fall into shock for no reason. But he wouldn't have known that you made something new by dividing up something old, something that was meant to happen at this very moment in your life. There was always an account. But it's now open. And when it opened, it didn't let go of some of the seal. It didn't think twice. It did not question whether you were worthy. It responded to being lined up. It responded to the time. It responded to the point at which your awareness and your assignment finally met. That's why you're hearing this right now. You can't ignore what your spirit has been trying to tell you any longer. You can't keep thinking that this is how things always are. No longer can you act like the limits around you define who you really are. You are being called to something deeper, something you've had forever. Here, though, is the truth that you need to know. There may be an account that hasn't been claimed yet. Not because it's not true, not because it's not out there, but because the person it belongs to doesn't become aware enough to get to it. That's why this moment is important. That's why there is a sense of urgency. Because what was written before you were born is now interacting with what you know now. What was planned in silence is now becoming visible. What was kept in the unseen is now coming to the surface. You're not being told to make this. You don't have to work for this. Except that the thing that has your name on it has always had your name on it. You are being asked to see it, to align with it. Something inside you will start to change as you start to understand this and feel the weight of what it really means. There will be less doubt. Fear will start to go away. And a calm certainty will start to grow because you know it in your heart. You know this isn't a bad idea. You know this isn't just another message. You know this has something real to do with it. The account is real. The launch has begun. Now there is one moment, one choice, one alignment, and one step where you either claim what is yours or let the moment pass without claiming it. The timepiece is still going. There's still an open window. That being said, your awareness right now is what makes the next thing happen. If this truth feels right to you, type. I accept what is written for me in the comments. The blessing code 2222 is now in your way. This certainly didn't happen last year, last month, or even yesterday for no good reason because you wouldn't have known what it was if it had happened back then. You would have asked about it. You might have even turned it down without knowing what you were doing. The world where Archangel Michael moves doesn't pick random times. The timing is perfect. It has a measure. It was done on purpose. And right now, everything in your life is coming together in a way that could not have happened sooner. You're different now. Not in a way that's easy for other people to see, but in a way that has changed your inner world, your thoughts, how you react, how you stay strong, and how you see what's going on around you. It's all been getting better. Sometimes you felt like you were lost, like nothing was moving, and like you needed to know if anything would ever change. But what you didn't see was how those times were making you ready. Because what's coming out now needs a different version of you. You need to be able to handle big things without getting stressed out. A version of yourself that doesn't back down when a chance comes up. A version of yourself that doesn't doubt when things start to happen. And that person has been growing through all the things you thought were delays. There was no waste. There was a reason for every mess. Every setback served a purpose. Every second you spent waiting made you more aware so that when this release finally came, you wouldn't miss it. This is what made Archangel Michael act that way. It wasn't just the amount that came out. It was the right time. Because the timing proves that something inside you is now in line with what has always been yours. There is a link between being ready and being released. The release will stay held until you reach a certain level of clarity. It's not because it's not true, but because it needs to meet you at the right point in your awareness. People might not understand it if it comes too early. It may not have as much of an effect if it gets there too late. Everything changes though when it shows up just when you're ready to accept it. Now is that time. You might still be not sure. You might still be wondering if you're really ready. But please understand this. Being ready doesn't always mean you're sure of yourself. At times it feels like a mix of not knowing and knowing. There are times when you feel like you're standing on the edge of something strange and about to step into a whole new world. In this moment, you feel that way because this isn't just a money deal. It's about moving. It's about moving on. You have to break out of a cycle that has been going on for too long and start living the life that was written for you from the start. Also, you need to hear this clearly. This moment came about not by chance, not by accident. Something changed in your life recently, which is why it was set off. It could have been a choice you made, an insight you gained, a scenario you left, or even a split second when you decided to think differently. No matter how small that change seemed at the time, it set off a chain reaction that can still be seen today. And that ripple made this release possible. This is why you can't ignore the link between what has been happening to you and what is happening now. They're not two different things. They have a direct link. What you went through was preparation. Manifestation is what is going on now. But there is still one important thing that needs to be done. Getting noticed. This is because the release has already started. But it needs your awareness to fully show up in your life. Do not ignore this moment. Do not treat it as important. Do not let doubt take over what your spirit is telling you. If you do these things, you might miss the full impact of what is being shown to you. This is why this message still has a sense of urgency. The timepiece is still going. There is still less room in the window. And now you have to make a choice based on the alignment that got you here. You're not supposed to be here. You're not hearing this by chance. Right now is a time that was planned for a long time before you knew it. The question of whether this is real is no longer valid now that you are here. The question is whether you'll answer it because the same thing will not happen again in the same way. You can't ignore the weight of this moment, this opening, this alignment. You are where you are now for a reason. And that reason is playing out right now. When I type, I get what's right for me in the comments. The blessing code 3333 has now been activated for you as this divine release starts to happen in your life. Know this, a seed is planted in ground that can't be seen every time this kind of message gets to a soul. Now you need to understand something that might change how you think about everything that has happened to you. Because what was holding you up wasn't always clear. Not all of the time. It showed up as clear problems or opposition. It could look like normal life, like things that made sense at the time, like situations you accepted because they made sense. But there was a pattern behind those times. It was like a pattern that kept you close to what was yours but never quite had it. Have you ever thought about that, what almost went well but didn't? How chances came up but just as they did something changed. How progress would start to move forward but then stop for no reason. How you could feel something getting stronger and then all of a sudden everything was quiet again. That was not a mistake. That caused a delay. And not just delay in the body, but also delay in the spirit. Because when something important is put in your path, it won't move without a fight. It doesn't come without being fought. It doesn't show up unless something is trying to mess with its timing. And the trouble you've been having isn't just a random struggle. It was a planned interruption, not to destroy what is yours, but to make it take longer for you to get to it. Think back to times when you didn't believe in yourself. If you were not sure of your direction. That moment when you weren't sure what to do next. Those times were more than just emotional. They planned ahead. Because if something can distract you, you can move more slowly. And if you move more slowly, it can throw off your timing. And time is very important. Furthermore, there were people in your life who caused you confusion, distraction, or hesitancy. These people were not necessarily enemies or obvious problems. The kind of people who made you question your gut. People who tried to get your attention away from where you were supposed to go. People who caused the delay whether they meant to or not. Here though is the truth that you need to know. They weren't the source. They were the way in. The delay was longer than they thought. Things that happened, your thoughts and patterns that kept happening until you thought this was just how things were supposed to be hurt you. And that thought added to the weight because you stop wanting more when you accept that you can't do everything. You won't notice when more is available once you stop expecting it. That's how delay keeps going. Now though, something is different. That's why Archangel Michael saw more than just a release. It was being broken. A break in the pattern that has kept things from reaching you fully. Something that broke the cycle and kept you stuck in a loop of almost but not quite. That cycle is over. You may already feel it even if you can't put your finger on why. A change in what you think about things. Something different about how you answer. It's like you know something is different from how it used to be. That's not something you made up. This is the delay letting go because there can't be delay when there is awareness. It can't go on from where recognition ends. Once you know what it is, it can't work the same way. You can now see it. You are no longer just going through the same patterns over and over again. No longer are you willing to accept the same limits without question. You are no longer taking every setback as a sign of something permanent. You are beginning to understand that what stopped things from happening was never meant to say what could happen. This understanding is what gets rid of the weight. Because what was waiting doesn't stay still once the delay is over. It moves right away without doubt. Without any doubt. That's why the release you're feeling comes on quickly. That's the reason it seems like a lot is going on at once, because what was being held back is no longer being held back. What was moving more slowly is now moving faster. What was waiting for you is now moving toward you. But there's still something you need to know. Delaying can become a habit if you are not careful even after the delay has been broken. In other words, if you keep falling back on the same patterns of doubt, hesitation, or distraction, you might slow down something that is already moving. Not stop it, but put off having to deal with it. This is why being aware is more important than ever right now. You need to stay in line with what you're learning. You should always be aware of how things are different from how they were in the past. There is a difference between the cycles you are in now and back then. Since you're not, the wait is over. There is no longer any interference. It's no longer the same. And what has your name on it isn't being held back like it used to be. It's moving toward you now. From here on out, everything will depend on how you react to that movement. Type 1 speed up every wait in the comments. You are now moving faster thanks to blessing code 4444. As this awakening grows inside you, know that helping with this mission is not a joke. It is a sign from God. You can support this work through the link in the description or the pinned comment. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our Ko-fi community. By doing so, you become part of Jesus' plan to save souls who are still stuck in fog. Every seed turns into light that fights against darkness. If you water others, you will be watered yourself. Jesus says, this is not history. It is a living promise about your future. Come into this moment with faith and a plan. What God has already planned for your life can be unlocked through your giving. That moment is being pushed against by something you can always feel. Even if you can't fully explain it, it's not fear. Pressure in the sense that the world makes pressure is not it. It's about time. Archangel Michael is not joking when he talks about it either. He is not bringing it up as an idea or a possibility. He is telling you this as a warning, a command, or something that you need to understand right away because the way things are going now is not going to end easily. It's not something that will never happen until you decide. That moment, window, or exact point in time has a lot of weight that goes beyond what you see on a clock. And when he says before the clock strikes 12, it's not just about midnight. At some point, one phase ends and a new one starts. This is what the poem is about. What you do before that moment shapes how you enter the next one. Have you ever thought about how certain chances in your life seem to come at just the right time? How they made you act, move, or respond within a certain window, and the chance didn't go away after that window closed. It just changed. It got harder farther away and less in line with where you were. That's just how timing works. Right now, you're inside a window that's getting smaller. This is why this message is so important right now. It's not meant to confuse you quickly, but to bring you to the present. That's because being aware is what lets you know what time it is. You might not think much of this if you didn't have it. Some people think there is always more time. You might wait to answer because you think you can come back to this later. But things are different now. This is made clear by Archangel Michael because what was set free is already moving. It doesn't need you to believe in it first. It won't stop until you're ready. The time it moves to was set a long time ago before you knew about it. This is where your role is very important. To be able to receive the release, you need to be in sync with its timing. Even though it is moving, everything works as it should if you are present, aware, and responsive. In this window, there is a gap between what is available and what you experience. Though, if you are busy, hesitant, or disconnected, Michael is telling you to be careful with that gap. He's not telling you this because he wants to take something away from you. You are being warned because something is being offered to you and how you respond will determine how fully it comes true in your life. Don't worry about this. This is about being exact. You have to know that some moments are more important than others. There are points in time that serve as gateways, and once you pass through them, you don't go back to the same spot. As you move forward, what you bring with you depends on what you knew before the crossing. You are getting close to that crossing right now. It might feel like you need to act quickly, like there's a quiet pull to pay attention, like you know something important is happening that you can't ignore. That feeling is not a fluke. It's your link to the timing of what's happening around you. And as you get closer to this point, your focus becomes even more important since getting sidetracked is the easiest way to miss the time. It's not a loud noise. It doesn't make itself known as something dangerous. It looks like normal thoughts, actions, and delays that don't seem dangerous at the time. But those short breaks can make you forget about what's right in front of you. That's why you need to be here now. That's why you need to be careful. That's why you need to stay in touch with how you feel right now. This moment isn't going to happen again in the same way. The clock does more than just tell time. It's used to mark the alignment. And as that time gets closer, everything around you changes. Things like thoughts, chances, situations, and even how you see what's going on are all changing to get you ready for what's about to happen. But having a position isn't enough on its own. You need to see it. You need to answer it. You need to be clear about it before you start, because things change at 12 o'clock. I don't mean that negatively. I mean that for sure. Now that the window is open, it changes into something else. The chance that was clear before is now less clear. Now the strong alignment starts to move on to the next phase. What is yours doesn't go away, but the ways you can get to it can change based on how you moved in this moment. This is why Archangel Michael's warning is important, because he knows everything. What he sees is what you can get right now. He can see when it will happen. He can see how close you are to it. Whether you're stepping into it fully or letting the moment go by without being fully aligned. You're not being hurried. You are becoming aware. Realize that this moment is more important than you think. That the fact that you are aware right now is not a coincidence. That the fact that you are reading this message is part of the timing. The timepiece is moving. The line is getting close, and everything is coming together to help you see what you need to do before that time comes. In the comments, type "I move at just the right time." Every second is now going your way. Thanks to blessing code F55, a battle is going on right now, and it's not outside of you. It's inside you. It's not noisy. It is constant but hard to notice if you are not paying attention. You can hear two voices, see two directions, and understand what is happening in front of you in two different ways. Which one you choose will determine how this moment turns out. Even though the release has already started, the timing is perfect, and Archangel Michael has made it clear that you can now fully claim something important. There is still something that can get in the way of you doing so. These two voices are at odds with each other. Something. You know, the first voice, you've heard it before. That makes sense. It seems like a good idea. It has a tone that makes you feel grounded and safe. You should be careful not to get your hopes up and to question things that you can't prove right away. In the past, it makes you think of times when things didn't go as planned. It makes you think about all the things that have held you up, confused you, or made you feel uncertain in the past. He doesn't yell. It talks softly. It can feel like your own thought because it whispers. It makes you think. What if this isn't real? What if you're misinterpreting this? What if nothing changes? This makes you hesitate. It makes you wait longer. You are more likely to stay where you are because you feel safe there, even if you don't want to be there. This is the voice of doubt. Not strong doubt or clear opposition, but quiet doubt. The kind that fits in so well with your thoughts that you don't even notice it's changing the way you make decisions. The second voice comes next. This one feels different. That's all it says. You can't use logic to get it to make sense. One can tell it's true by the way it speaks. being sure of something without having to explain it. It doesn't ignore your past, but it also doesn't let it limit what you can do now. Listen up. This voice tells you this is not a coincidence. You are being shown something for a reason. It doesn't make you afraid or unsure. It just draws your attention to what is going on and asks you to see it without making it too hard. You can hear the voice of alignment here. Both voices are here right now. They may both speak. Both of them are affecting how you see this moment. And the way you move forward will depend on which one you choose. You will always be late when you listen to the voice of doubt. It will make you think, question, and hesitate until the moment is no longer clear. You'll start to believe that there is always more time, another chance, or a reason to wait. The voice of alignment, on the other hand, does something different. It brings you right now. It keeps you rooted in the present. It helps you understand that you don't have to overthink everything all the time. That there are times when you need to be aware, trust, and be ready to move without needing to be told everything. Now is one of those times. This is why it's so important to pay attention to the problems you're having inside right now. For no reason at all, it's just how things work. The mind naturally tries to keep itself safe from uncertainty when something important is close at hand. This thing tries to stick to what it already knows. It tries not to go into something that it doesn't know. But here's what you need to know. What you know is also what has kept things the same. The way things are going now is not meant to keep them that way. It's meant to make them different. This is why the second voice, the one that makes you feel like you know something, is so important. Since it doesn't want to keep you where you are, it helps you get to where you need to be. But you need to pay attention to it. You have to slow down just a bit to hear the difference between the two voices to be able to tell the difference between being led toward alignment and being pulled into doubt. That's because you can choose which way to go. Once you know the difference, this is where things change. The moment you choose alignment over doubt, you make something inside you stable. The hesitation starts to go away. Things start to make sense and the awareness that has been growing inside you gets stronger, clearer, and more certain. You start to believe what your body is telling you. It dawns on you that this moment is not something to think about too much. It's something you should notice and react to. That answer doesn't have to be hard either. It just needs to be aligned since you already feel it. You know something isn't the same already. You already know this isn't just another message. You already know that this has something real to do with it. The question isn't whether the voices are real or not. Which one will you choose to listen to? One will keep you where you are. The other will take you to what was already set free in your name. Type 1 picked alignment in the notes. Now I'm making you more clear inside. That's blessing code 66666. There is a big change going on inside you right now. It's not very loud. It isn't too much, but it is real. You feel like you're not standing where you were a moment ago after a quiet rise and a steady strengthening because what you've been hearing, feeling, and noticing is more than just information. Yes, it is activation. Now, this is where things start to change because you have been watching up until now. You heard what I said. You're becoming more aware of what's going on around you. The next step is different though. We are not going to observe in this step. It's about taking part. It's about taking part in something that's already been planned. And that part is being in charge. Not authority the way most people think of it. Not power over other people. No, not dominance, not force, but real authority. Being able to stand in line with what is yours and know that you have the right to claim it. A lot of people miss this. They wait to be told they can. Aside from the confirmations they have already gotten, they wait for more. They wait until they are sure, safe, and understand everything. But that's not how authority works. When you agree that what has been put in your name is not something you need to defend, you have authority. That's something you need to understand. This is where hesitation often tries to come back because it feels strange to take charge after spending so much time dealing with uncertainty. It can feel like you're moving even though there isn't enough proof. Like you're putting your faith in something you can't quite see yet. But make sure you understand this. You're not going into the unknown. You are taking over a role that has always been yours. The only thing that's different now is that you know about it. And awareness is what makes authority work. Take a look. You had no reason to do anything with this account before you knew it existed. Things were out there in your name before you knew it. So there was nothing you could claim. But everything changes now that you know, feel and understand that this moment is important. Because knowledge that isn't put to use stays useless. But when knowledge is aligned, it turns into power. Now is the time when that power starts to flow through you. You might feel a steady sense of confidence that isn't loud or forceful. It's possible that the doubt that you had before doesn't seem as strong now. You might feel like the fear that was stopping you before is starting to fade. That isn't a mistake. Yes, that is activation. When authority starts to grow inside you, it doesn't need to prove itself. It just becomes clear. You should be clear in what you think, how you feel, and how you react to what you see. And being clear is what lets you claim what is yours. Not through force or fight, but through alignment. That's why Archangel Michael's message doesn't tell you to go after anything. It's not telling you to fight for something that you can't get. It wants you to be in a place where you can see that what you've let go of is already moving toward you. It's not your job to make it happen. Your job is to take it in. But receiving needs to be lined up. For this to work, you have to stop wondering if you deserve what has been given to you. You have to stop questioning whether this moment is real. You need to change your mindset from one that is based on waiting to one that is based on being ready. Since you're ready, even if it doesn't feel finished, even though you still have doubts, this is true. Even if you are moving forward with a mix of certainty and doubt, being ready doesn't mean you don't have any questions. In spite of them, it is the presence of alignment. That's where you are now. You are no longer making plans to be ready. As soon as you take a step toward readiness, something starts to click into place. The hesitancy goes away even more. The clarity gets better in this moment. Everything you have heard, felt, and recognized starts to move from understanding into action. This makes you more aware of what is going on around you and makes you feel like this moment is important. Not just physical action, but also a sense of alignment inside. The kind of alignment that changes how you act, what you think, and how you react to what's going on around you. Because when you become in charge, you no longer see this moment as uncertain. This shift in how you think about it changes everything because what you are willing to receive is directly linked to what you think belongs to you. And now that belief is growing, that awareness is getting stronger and that authority is starting to work. The space between you and what was set free in your name starts to shrink. You don't have to move slowly or uncertainly. You just have to be sure of what you're doing. This is how you access it. Now is your chance to take what has always been yours. From now on, everything will depend on how much you believe that to be true. Feel free to write, "I claim what is mine," below. Your power is now being used by blessing code 777. You've already started to notice the signs, even if you didn't fully understand what they meant at the time. They weren't loud announcements. They didn't come with clear stories. They came up slowly and quietly, almost becoming a part of your everyday life. But from where you are now, those signs start to make sense because recognition always comes before receiving something. You seem to be more aware lately. Have you noticed how you're noticing things you didn't pay attention to before? There are little things, shifts, and changes in energy that you can't put your finger on, but can feel. One of the first signs is that it's not sensitivity that just happens. It is in line. Because as the thing that was let go of gets closer, your perception changes to fit it. You become more aware. You learn more about it. You can feel that something is going on, but you can't quite put your finger on it yet. The change in your thoughts comes next. You don't think the same way you used to. Different kinds of ideas are coming up. Things you used to take for granted are now making you think. You are now seeing possibilities where you used to only see limits. It's like your mind is getting ready to hold something bigger than it often does. That isn't a mistake. That's getting ready. Because what you are about to hear needs a different way of thinking. You have to be able to think freely without being limited by old habits, expectations, or what has worked or not worked in the past. You are already going through this change. There's something else you might notice too. Feeling cut off from things that used to be important to you. Things, people, or even conversations that used to keep you interested may not feel the same as they did before. They haven't changed. You have. This is one of the most obvious signs. Because something old starts to slip away before something new fully enters your life. Though it might not go away completely, it will no longer have the same weight, influence, or pull. This isn't loss. This is the change. Because you can't fully receive what's coming if you're still stuck in things that aren't where you want to go. Then there's the feeling, that sense that something is close but can't explain it. You might not be able to explain it. Sometimes you can't point to something and say, but it's there. A quiet looking forward. A slight tension, a sense that something is about to change in a way that you can't fully predict. That feeling is not made up. It's the mind waking up to the real world. Because what was let go of is not fixed. It's moving. As it gets closer, your mood starts to change in response. Before you even see it, you can feel what's coming. That's the reason the signs are so important. They are part of the event and not separate from it. They are a part of it. These are the first signs that what you've been told, what you've been feeling, and what you're starting to believe is true. But there is one thing you must not forget. Pay close attention to these signs. If you push them away, try to figure out what they mean, or tell yourself they don't matter, you lose touch with what is going on. Stopping it doesn't mean you're not experiencing it fully. Because recognizing something makes alignment stronger. And how well you can receive what is already moving toward you depends on your alignment. That's why you need to stay here. You need to keep these changes, thoughts, and feelings in mind. You need to let yourself notice without overthinking, to think without dismissing, and to feel without questioning. Because everything that's happening to you now is linked. The awareness, the thoughts, the separation, and the waiting all lead to the same truth. You're almost there. There is more of you now than ever before. And what was set free in your name is no longer far away. It is no longer being held up. It is getting close to a point where it will affect your life in a way that you can't ignore. But how clear that moment is will depend on how well you can see the signs that led up to it. Because you'll be ready when the time comes if you know how to read the signs. And being ready is what lets you receive without any doubt. Type 1 can see the signs in the text. The blessing code 8888 is now making you more aware. One more thing you need to know because it can change everything you've heard so far. Not stopped or taken away, but slowed down or even missed in its purest form. To be honest, this trap doesn't look like it would be dangerous. It doesn't make it clear that you should stay away from it. Everything looks fine. It feels like home. And that's exactly why it works so well. Because the biggest danger at this time is not something that is easy to see, something very small. It takes attention away. There shouldn't be loud noises or a lot of chaos. Instead, there should be small changes in your attention that take you away from what's important. People who have it think too much. Sometimes it shows up as doubt. When you say to yourself, "I'll get back to this later," or "I'll think about this more when I have time," the alignment starts to weaken because you need to be here for this moment. You have to stay in touch with how you feel, what you know, and what is happening right now. But something else takes your mind off of that. It makes you think about things that seem important but aren't really that important. To thoughts that don't make sense but feel like they need to be there. You move away from the right time slowly, but you don't even seem to notice. There's more to this trap than meets the eye. It's doubt coming back in a new form. That's not the loud one you saw before. This is a quieter one that looks like logic. It tells you to take your time, wait, and not move too quickly. If you think about it, you might not think this is the right time. Maybe you should get more information or be more sure before you answer. Now, that might sound like a good idea, but it can waste time because you're not being told to act without thinking. You are being asked to clearly understand. One of the fastest ways to lose clarity is to think about it too much. Think about how many times you have strongly felt or deeply known something, but then talked yourself out of doing it. It wasn't because it was wrong, but because you gave doubt time to change how you saw things. That's what this trap does. It doesn't change the truth. It makes it cloudy. It swaps out simplicity for confusion, awareness for doubt, and clarity for chaos. This puts just the right amount of space between you and the moment so that you miss its full impact. There's also comfort, not having to leave where you are. It's nice to not have to change anything. There is comfort in sticking with what you know even if it's not what you really want because you have to move to step into what is being released. Not always physical movement but movement inside of you. A change in how you see things yourself and what's possible or not possible. And that change can feel strange. You might feel like you don't know everything when you start something new. The mind tries to bring you back to safety. You should stay where things are stable, where you know what to expect, and where you don't have to get used to something new. But you need to know this. What makes you feel good is also what has kept things the same. What you're being given now isn't meant to keep things the same either. It's meant to help you move forward. In light of this trap should not be feared or overanalyzed, but should only be seen for what it is. Because it stops being powerful as soon as you see it. If you are aware of the distraction, it can't pull you away. If you know how doubt works, it can't throw you off. You can't let comfort stop you. If you know what it's trying to protect, being aware breaks the trap. You know this right now. The difference between being present and being busy is clear. You can tell when your thoughts are pulling you away and when they are aligned. You know when you are standing in clarity and when you are starting to doubt yourself. Being aware of that is what protects you. It's what keeps you in the present moment. Because of it, you won't miss what's happening right in front of you. Since everything is still moving, you can still use your release. The times are still right. The chance is still out there. That being said, how fully you receive it depends on how you play with it. That's why you need to keep your feet on the ground in what you already know. You need to keep in touch with the clarity that has been growing inside you. You have to fight the urge to make things too hard, to wait or to move away from what you already know is important because right now is not a normal time. It's not about losing what you have when you miss it. It's about putting off having that experience. You're not here to put things off, though. You're here to get something. To do that, you have to stay in the present, be aware, and be aligned without letting the trap pull you away. I pay attention in the comments. The blessing code 9999 is now blocking all other thoughts from entering your mind. You've reached the point where everything fits together, not in idea or possibility, but in practice. Because everything you've heard, felt, and been shown to you so far has led you to this point where you don't just understand what's going on. You also react to it. This answer is also not what most people expect. There's no need to rush. There's no need to chase. It's not about making something happen. It's about getting in line at the deepest level because the moment of claiming is not first in the body. It starts with the spiritual. It starts with you. When it comes to what has already been released, it all starts with how you feel inside. A lot of people get this wrong when they think about what it means to claim something. They believe that they need to work hard, struggle, or have someone else do something to show that they are ready. That's not how this works, though. What was put out in your name doesn't need to be persuaded. You need to receive it. Acceptance is the first step in receiving. It's not reluctant acceptance, not accepting some things. You have to fully understand that what you see is real, that it lines up, which means it's yours. At this point, you no longer wonder if this is right for you. You should stop thinking about whether you deserve it at this point. You should no longer wait for another sign. At this point, one more confirmation, yet another reason. Since everything you need to know about this moment is already there, now it's up to you to decide how you want to stand in it. Are you sure of what you believe or are you not sure? Do you stand in doubt or do you stand in control? Do you see yourself as someone watching what's going on or as someone taking in what's already been given? Because that position inside determines everything. How clearly you see what's happening depends on it. It decides how easily it comes into your life. And that choice determines whether you meet this moment fully or only partly. Which is why being still is important. Not when you're doing something, but when your mind is still. The reason for this is that you can feel what is real when your mind is still. You can tell what is straight by how it feels. You don't have to make it too hard to figure out what belongs to you. This is where things become clear in a state where you let what is already true settle in you. Not when you think too much or ask too many questions all the time. As the clarity sets in, something starts to happen. Your resistance goes away. Your doubt goes away. Your awareness gets better. And things that were unclear before start to seem clear because you know deep down. You can already tell that this is not like any other time. It's already clear to you that something important is happening. And what you align with is what you know. Not the doubt, not the fear. It's not the part of you that wants to wait. Though the part of you that knows this is your chance. Because taking what is yours doesn't mean reaching out to other people. It's about focusing on yourself. It means being in a place where you don't push away what is meant for you. It's about getting rid of the things inside you that used to make you doubt whether you could receive something better. Something changes as those walls come down. The space between you and what you've let go of starts to blur. Not because you get closer physically, but because your spirit is in sync with it. And alignment is what makes reception possible. That's why we shouldn't rush this moment. But we also shouldn't wait for it either. You have to be there for it. We need to be aware of it. You have to make a clear choice inside yourself that you are no longer standing outside of what is yours. You're stepping into it. Everything starts to move in a different direction once the choice is made. Now you don't look at this moment with doubt. You no longer doubt that it's real. You don't think twice about what to say anymore. It's clear that you stand in it fully and without any resistance. That's when you make your claim. Not loud or forced, but clear as day because it fits with everything that has brought you to this point. That's where you'll start to notice something. As you stand there, things will begin to link up. Things will start to change. It will become clearer because your reality starts to reflect that alignment as soon as you get in line with what has been released. Things change here, not after, not in the end, but from now on. As a result of becoming more aware, you are now in alignment. And alignment is the last step in the process. What kind of type do I get in the comments? Your claim is now sealed with blessing code when 10. What comes next won't be kept secret. Everything has been inside up until now. The awareness, the alignment, and the change inside you. All of this has been going on in the background, out of sight, and out of mind for other people. But what's going to happen won't stay there. Because when something this important comes out, it doesn't just affect you. It goes over. That overflow will be clear to see. You need to fully grasp this. That which bears your name was never meant to end with you. It was never meant to exist by itself. There are effects of it that go beyond your own experience. It changes your surroundings, the people you interact with, your path, and even how other people see what is possible. This is why the change you are making feels so strong. It's not a small one. It can't be held. Once it starts to show up in your life, it's not something you can easily ignore. At some point, something will change in a way that you can't ignore. It will happen faster than you think. You might not notice it all at once, but it will be clear enough that you will know what it is right away. A door that opens, a problem that gets solved, a chance that comes up, or a change in your situation that matches what you've been feeling inside. When that moment comes, it will be heavy with proof of everything you've been feeling. Not as a possible outcome, but as a fact. This is where the overflow starts because the change doesn't stay in one part of your life once it becomes clear. It starts to get bigger. It starts to affect other parts of your life. It starts to move things around in places that were still before. People will notice you. Some people won't get it. Some people will try to explain it in ways that make sense to them. Some people will remember the person you were before this moment and find it hard to make the connection between that person and the person they see now. You will know, though. You'll know this isn't a mistake. For sure, you'll understand that this did not happen by chance. Everything has been setting up for this to happen behind the scenes, and you'll know it. You will feel grounded when you know that, because change at this level can be too much to handle if you don't have a foundation in understanding. Sometimes it seems like everything moves too fast. It seems like things are changing more quickly than you thought. But this is where your alignment is once more important. The overflow is not meant to be hard to understand. It is meant to make you sure. This is meant to show you that what you began on the inside is now showing up on the outside. And as it does, you have to stay steady. Don't back down. You shouldn't say to yourself, "Do I deserve this?" You must not let how other people react change how you see this moment. The overflow isn't meant to prove anything to anyone else. It has to do with how things naturally grow from what has already started. And this growth will keep going, not in a crazy or out of control way, but in a way that matches the alignment you've entered. Because what you get is directly linked to how you stay in line with it. The overflow will keep going smoothly as long as you stay grounded, aware, and clear. You can slow down how you experience what is already happening if you let doubt or outside forces pull you out of alignment. In this stage, you need steadiness, not effort or force. So be steady. The power to stay as clear as you are. Even as things around you start to become less clear, because things are going to change now. What was let go of can't go back to where it was. What has been turned on can't be turned off again. What has begun will keep going. And as it goes on, it will change more than one moment. It will change the way you go. It will change the way you think about what's possible. It will change how you move forward from now on. A lot of people never get ready for this part. They get ready for the moment when they receive, but not for what comes next. Now that you know about it, though, you won't be caught off guard when the overflow starts. You're all set. Get ready to stand in it. All set to go. Ready to let it grow without any problems. Because this isn't the end of the process. We are now entering a new phase. A stage where things that couldn't be seen become clear. Where things that were inside become outside. Where things that seemed far away become real to you. And that truth will speak for itself as it comes true. There's no need to explain it. It won't need to be checked. It's just going to be. Everything will make sense at that point. Type 1 like how the comments are getting too long. Blessing code your world. That's it. Not one more message. There is no more time to think about it later. You can't go back to it when things are easier or clearer. This is where all the points come together. Being aware, timing, alignment, and activation are all important. And it all comes together now, right before the threshold is crossed. From the start, you could feel it getting stronger. There was a part of you that knew this wasn't normal. The words and the time of the speech made a difference. In a way, this was meant to get your attention without being forced. That was not a mistake. That was setting up. You were being brought into line with something that was already going to happen. You are now on the edge of it. It's not just going forward. There is an end to a cycle. A cycle in which things are uncertain, take too long, or are just out of reach. And as the clock strikes 12, that cycle comes to an end. What you get instead depends on how you deal with this moment. Because this is no longer about what has been released. It's already done that part. This is what you do with it. This is about whether you move forward with full alignment or let this moment go by with only some awareness. Because only some things are recognized leads to only some experiences. Full alignment, on the other hand, means full reception. You can't stay in the middle. You can't expect to fully receive what is yours if you have one foot in doubt and the other in certainty. Right now, you need to make a choice. Not harsh or loud, but clear. A choice you make for yourself that you will no longer question what has already been shown. A choice to stop putting off responding to something you already believe is real. A choice that you are fully stepping into what has been put in your name, since you already know the truth. You already know that this moment is important. You know something isn't the same already. You already know this is not something you can ignore. And what you know is what you need to do now. Not thinking too much, not to be hesitant. There's no need to look at every little thing. You've been feeling more and more sure of something since the start of this message, because things change when the clock strikes 12. It's not going to take anything away from you. It's just ending this moment. You are in a window that will soon close. What's left will move on to the next phase. And how you feel in the next phase is completely based on how you responded here. That's why this is the last call. Not to make you feel bad, not to rush you, but to make you fully aware of what is going on right now. You are no longer waiting. You are no longer getting ready. You are no longer observing. You are at the point where everything starts to make sense. And the choice you make now will echo in the future. Since it's not just about money, it was never there. It's about getting in touch with what has always been yours. Living a life that matches what was planned for you from the start is what it's all about. It's about realizing that this moment wasn't a fluke. It was planned, and it was planned to bring you into it. There is no longer any doubt. There's nothing left to wait for. There's no more time to wait. There is only the choice to fully step into what has already been released. Because now is your time. This is the line you'll cross. This is where you cross. Everything that comes after this changes based on where you are now. Now it's my turn in the comments. Your breakthrough is now sealed with blessing code or twill. As this last moment sinks into your mind, remember this truth. When this kind of message gets to someone, it opens a door in their life that might not have been opened before. You are about to enter your divine future. But remember, this breakthrough is not for you alone. Your testimony is the bridge someone else will use to reach their own miracle. Archangel Michael is inviting you to visit community through the link in the description or the pinned comment. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our community, does not go to a channel. Your actions are supporting a divine mission to save lost souls. By joining our like-minded community, you are no longer praying in isolation. You are adding your voice to a global sanctuary where we discuss the Word daily and stand in the gap for one another. This is not poetry when Jesus says, "Give and heaven will open over you." On this platform, every seed you plant turns into oil for your destiny, fire for your calling, and a hedge of safety for your family. Now is your time. Step into our community prayer wall. Share your heart. And as you give, watch God multiply what you let go of. Let's finish this journey together. Visit our community now. Join the family and see your heavens open. Before we get to the end of this powerful story, let's reflect on this deep truth. You did not find this message by accident. This is a divine appointment meant specifically for you. You are being invited into a protected faith-filled community at the link in the description and pinned comment. A place where divine abundance is not just a hope but a promise built on the Word. By heading to the site right now, you are unlocking access to a sacred community of like-minded believers. When you join our membership tiers, you gain immediate entry to powerful content, daily devotions, and divine insights that are hidden from the world. This is your chance to enter a sanctuary where you will receive spiritual guidance, unwavering support on our prayer wall, and speedy progress toward your destiny. Do not let this moment of destiny pass you by. Your breakthrough is waiting. Join our inner circle through the exclusive link in the description. This is how you guarantee you never miss the personalized messages and spiritual warfare tools meant to elevate your life. If you feel called to deepen your connection, the link is waiting for you in both the pinned comment and the description. For those who want to amplify this work and carry the light home, you can find our guided ebooks and Bibles in the pinned comment. Whether you join as a member or sow a seed through our resources, your presence and energy change the world. Take the step. Your abundance awaits.